Hi, everyone. My name is Maylin Wong. I am a second-year MBA student here at Yale School of Management and co-president of the Black Business Alliance Club. I am going to start by thanking everyone for joining us today. There are a million things that you could be doing. There are classes, you could be taking a day off, whatever it may be, but you chose to spend your day with us, and we're truly, truly thankful for that. When I think about how this came about, it's actually pretty crazy and very exciting to be standing in front of all of you today. When I came to SOM, I was thinking about, how can I pursue entrepreneurship/venture. I had a few interests that I wanted to explore here. And when I got to campus, I looked around to the Black community specifically, looking for other people who have been founders, who have been investors. And maybe not surprisingly, there weren't really many other people doing that. And then I met Julian, who was interested in venture, and I was working in venture, and we became very close. And we've spent the past year and a half probably talking a bunch about how to create opportunities for entrepreneurship to be a lot more accessible for the Black community here. So I hope that by starting this event for generations or future generations of students to come, that a lot of people will have these stories that they can see, and it seems a lot more attainable for you to become an investor, for you to become an entrepreneur after we spend the day celebrating everyone today.
If I'm a Black entrepreneur, I have $72,000 less in starting capital to start my business, which is a third of what white entrepreneurs have. 26% of founders feel like they don't have the social network to talk to a VC and meet CT Next and figure out how do I navigate this community. And they can't get loans when they get up and running. 2% of Black businesses that were established were able to get access to PPP funding versus 83% of white businesses. And so, at a critical time as COVID, that was table stakes for maintaining your business, particularly if you're at the early stage. Black folks actually at the early stage of the entrepreneurial pipeline, which is what you guys see on the stage here, from ideation all the way to exit, Black folks are actually ideating and coming up with ideas at a higher rate than other groups. But at every stage along the journey, they face gaps which lead to only 4% getting kind of to a mature level, which we call 3.5 years out, and not that many scale. The average Black business is under $1 million versus 2.4 for white businesses, and less have the services and the ability to get the resources to be able to exit. And so end to end here, there's a lot of challenges, which is why we're not seeing that supply and that pipeline move in.
What do you think would really move the needle in getting more funding directed toward Black founders? Basically, whatever we have going on right now, it's helping, but it's not quite working.
Well, it can't be performative, right? It can't be theatrical. And out of all the funds that I saw created post George Floyd, I wasn't the recipient of any of the money. I'm not sure how many of you were, but I just didn't see it. So where is it? And then, the comment of, well, where are the Black founders? There's a lot of us, and we're here, and we're building real businesses that are thriving. And I think they're not really trying hard to find us. And I think some of the barriers that were set, right? Like some of the funds would be created and they're like, well, we only want to write $50 million checks into these companies. Well, how many Black founders are not at the seed or the Series A level to where their business could actually absorb a $50 million check or even a $30 million check? And then what traction are you going to want to see to deploy $20, $30, $50 million into those businesses? Then you're going to try to say that, oh, well, we can't find any real growth stage businesses. So I think there needed to be more of a strategy around helping Black businesses through the life cycle. And many of them would come in and try to say that they wanted to fund businesses way too later stage. And it's an easy opportunity for them to say that they can't find businesses to write those big checks to. But the thesis was inherently flawed. But that's the way I see it.
I would like to see investors ask different types of questions. So a lot of early stage investing, they always say that they're taking a bet on the founder. But whenever I talk to funds, they ask like purely metric based questions like what's your retention, what's your conversion rate, which those are valuable ways to measure a business. But since so much early stage investing is about the founder, I think Black founders could stand out if they ask more questions about our experiences, things we've overcome, our grit, because I think those are areas where we're exceptionally unique. But a lot of investors, they ask like what your founding story is. They say, okay, that's great, and then they drive into metrics. If I was an early stage investor, I would probably make a lot of my investment decision based off of who the person is, because when I look at some of my founder friends, the people who have been most successful, I actually don't think it's due to the underlying mechanisms of their business, because there's a lot of people doing the same thing. We all feel our ideas are unique, but there's a lot of people doing them. And so it's more about who they are as a person, like a little bit of luck, but also they just didn't give up. And I don't think a lot of investors ask questions that would highlight that.
What are some of the key things you evaluate and you want to see out of investments you're going to make?
Yeah, so when evaluating an investment opportunity, I focus on early stage investing. So there are key buckets and categories that I really drill into. One of which being the team. Venture is all about outsized returns, and we want to back folks who can have that experience and background that will give them a unique advantage against anyone else who might try to pursue that solution that they're looking to solve and market. So drilling down on the team, their background, domain expertise, understanding also their why. I think folks can have a lot of credentials, but that passion and vision that they have for their business often comes through when they're articulating their business, and you can kind of feel and see that passion. And I think that's also really important. Entrepreneurship is hard. Oftentimes founders have to pivot and face different obstacles. And so founders who are willing to, take the long run and are committed to the journey, that's one of the areas that I look for and evaluate. And also around team, I look for diversity in team. I think diversity is directly correlated to success, diversity of background, experiences. And that's something that, I think is integral to, my own personal evaluation of startups.
I need a drum roll on your thighs if you got that. All right. The first ever Black Venture Summit Prize winner is WebQuity. Congratulations.
Our level of talent and our brilliance and our genius cannot be limited to being a trend. It's not a moment in history. It's a constant factor. And it's very important that we acknowledge the genius that we have and operate from a level of abundance and not lack. What happens, I feel like, for a lot of young founders that have some of the most brilliant ideas is due to the psychological way that it's structured, access to R&D to get your idea off of the ground, which, by the way, you need money to get your idea off of the ground to begin with. So for you to even feel bad that you have to, spend money to make money or spend money to get your product to where it needs to be or achieve product market fit is, again, another one of those psychological barriers that has been created. And